Morning, guys. Today is October 20th. I hope you guys had a good Sunday yesterday. Um, but let's get started on today's devotional. Today's devotional is titled, How Healthy is Your Heart? Search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me, and know my anxieties, and see if there is any wicked way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting. Psalm 139, verses 23 to 24. Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 9 says, The heart is deceitful above all things, and desperately wicked. Who can know it? In a world that wants us to believe in the decency and goodness of every person, it can be hard to accept that our hearts are truly wicked. King David knew all about treachery after betraying his captain Uriah in order to wed Uriah's wife, Bathsheba, who was pregnant with David's baby. With the mask of deceit, David presumed he had slipped past God. His deception lasted until Nathan the prophet confronted him. David confessed and repented without excuses. Perhaps that's why God called him a man after his own heart. We know from Scripture that we cannot discern the true state of our hearts without the help of God. With every new dawn and every new sunset, we need to whisper David's prayer. We need to open our souls for God to search the recesses of our hearts and then ask Him to wash us clean and lead us in His way. Quote by Max Lucado, real change is an inside job. You might alter things a day or two with money and systems, but the heart of the matter is and always will be the matter of the heart. This is kind of a topic that I've been seeing a lot lately. Kind of on YouTube and at church they talked about it a little bit yesterday too. About purifying and cleaning our hearts. And I think it's super important, and it goes into the humility of it, as we talked about last time. Remaining humble with a humble heart when you come to the Lord. The things that we desire in our heart are the things that our flesh desires, especially if we're living our life without God and away from God and not doing His will. And it's important to ensure that every single day, just as it said today, just as the devotional said today, with every new dawn and every new sunset, it's important for us to ask that the Lord's will be done, that He cleanses our hearts, gives us a heart anew, and leads us in the way everlasting, that He leads us. And in order for Him to lead us, we have to be willing and accepting of His leadership and for Him to lead us. I feel like this is a thing that a lot of people struggle with. I struggle with it a lot, just on my everyday life, just trying to make decisions about my life or work or, what my future decisions may be. And am I looking out for my own welfare, or am I looking out for the welfare of God's people and the blessings He's given me? And this goes into our last devotional about stewardship. The blessings that God gives me, if my heart is not pure and I receive those blessings, then I'm going to think that I did all the work to get that blessing, that it was me and me alone. But when we come to the Lord and ask Him to purify our hearts, so many different things are required for that, and David was a man after God's own heart, time and time again. David wasn't a perfect man by any means, We read the story of David in 1st and 2nd Samuel. He wasn't perfect at all. He did many things. They were wrong against the Lord, and as he talked about Bathsheba, one of his army's captains, he sent the army out to go fight a war. David stayed home and slept with his captain's wife, and she got pregnant. And, but what did he do? The Bible also says that the righteous man sins 7 times and gets up again. We get up again and we follow the Lord. It doesn't matter. Do not let the enemy keep you down. Don't let the enemy tell you that you're worthless, that you're ugly, that you're not pure, because we're not, and we know that. But Christ died on the cross for us to be. We are made righteous through his sacrifice on the cross. Don't forget that. Today I challenge all of us to think about our hearts and if they're lined up in the right places, and if they're not, which they probably aren't, let's humble ourselves and ask the Lord to purify our hearts, purify our minds, and to align our hearts with his, so that his will may be done in our lives. I love you guys. I'll be praying for you, and I will see you next time.